Now, we have reached near the pinnacle of our own stupidity. We've gone down roads of ignorance, purposeful ignorance, for a long time. Today, we're going to watch a few clips and discuss a little bit about what is so hard about saying that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. And some may say, "Oh, this is a tired subject." And is it really? Is it a tired subject? It's a contentious subject. Why is it contentious? That's a good question. And people want to separate sex from gender. They want to say gender's in your head. Your sex is your sex organs. And everything in your head has DNA in it. And that DNA defines who you are. It defines how you are developed. It defines how you grow. It defines how things happen throughout your life. And then certain elements within the environment, say chemicals or what have you, can disrupt, even sunlight can disrupt that DNA, and just small breaks that tie your DNA from where it goes like this and accidentally makes it go like this from sunlight can give you cancer. It's pretty simple. Small changes are deadly. And for instance, we want to say that a man and a woman are the same, everything but their thoughts. And that thought of who they are defines what that is. When in fact, throughout history, the man and a woman are totally different in every aspect. And I would say, as a Christian, designed that way. God made man, and then God made woman from man, and they have different roles within the family, and that's okay. Well, enough of my monologue. Let's go into some things that we have all seen. So we're going to talk about these, like I said, but first, the Supreme Court. We all know what the Supreme Court is. Some things have just happened, especially immunity just occurred. A lot of the gun laws, the sending Roe v. Wade back to the states. We all know that the Supreme Court determines how the law is read from the Constitution and how that applies. And Ketanji Brown Jackson recently was appointed to the Supreme Court. And when she was in the Senate for confirmation, this question was asked of her.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mhm.
No,
Yeah,
I can't.
you can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of the word woman?
I'm not a biologist. I'm just a stupid lawyer who wants to make decisions in the highest court. I don't know the difference between a man and a woman. I've been a woman my entire life, but I can't tell you what one is. Like I said, the pinnacle of willful stupidity. That is the pinnacle. I don't want to offend anybody. That's what she's saying. I know what a woman is. Everybody knows what a woman is. But by God, I can't say I know what a woman is because I might hurt somebody's feelings. Boo-hoo. Oh well. In the Senate, Ted Cruz, this is dealing with Riley Gaines. We all know that Riley Gaines was the swimmer who was up against the trans swimmer. So it's a man, a 6'4" man, swimming against her as if that's fair competition. And this was before the Senate discussing it. And it's not just that, it's the fact that you want to say that he can be whatever he wants to. He can be a woman. But nobody cares about all the women that have to see a naked man that they don't want to see. One of her major complaints is she's a Christian and she's married and she only wants to see her husband. She doesn't want to see any man genitalia but her husband. And she should have the right to do that. But she doesn't. And this is some commentary from Ted Cruz asking one of the people, is there a difference between a man and a woman?
Ms. Robinson, do you agree with Ms. Gaines that there's a difference between women and men?
if the question is about trans women,
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
what I can say is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition
Okay, I'm
happened,
going to try
the
again.
rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes/no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the
Is that a yes?
conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions related to sex.
Is
but
that
I
a
also
yes?
think
So I'm
that when
trying to
we're-
get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech.
I'm
Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're
which
not
is
answering
different
that.
than
Let me ask
gender.
you this question then.
Many times, what you see, especially if you watch a lot of the people coming before Congress, Senate, or the House of Representatives, I watch it every day, almost all day long. What's going on in Congress, what's happening. I listen to the arguments before the Supreme Court. I listen to trials, the major trials happening. So this is what I pay attention to and listen to while I work. I work from home, and I'll listen to that all day long. If you don't want to answer the question, you talk and you talk and you talk, and then you end up answering questions that's not being asked. And that's why he was cutting her off, trying to get an answer from her. That's what happens all the time. So it's not that he wasn't allowing her to talk. She was trying to do what generally most people come in there to do, is they don't want to give you an answer, so they'll answer a question that's not asked. Why is this so difficult? What's the difference between a man and a woman? Are there differences? Or, I mean, when you're talking about competitive sports, should we, and he asked later, if there's no difference between a man and a woman, why is there a girls swim team? And why don't the boys and the girls just say, hey, swim together? And whoever wins, wins. Can't answer it. That's unbelievably ridiculous. Now, they went out to the street and they asked some people in public simple questions, same questions. Let's hear what the people on the street, this is common folk.
I have a friend who was a female and is now a male. His name is Colton. And I asked him, now that you have sort of boy parts, I have a friend who was a female and is now a male. His name is Colton. And I asked him, now that you have sort of boy parts and kind of girl parts, and you go dating and you date a woman, what are you? Well, I don't know. So he didn't even know. Even though he's made the transition to be male, he doesn't even know what to call himself.
I suppose that's down to the individual and how they feel inside, really. I don't think anyone could put a label on any other person. It's not really anyone's place to do that.
People can do what they want to do, and people can, if they feel like a woman, then it's cool, isn't it?
From my personal point of view, it's biological. I think you're born a woman.
If you feel like you're a woman, then who's anyone to stop you from being you,
I believe that what you're born with is what you are. People have the right to change that, but on the whole, I think it's how you're born.
But we know women can have babies and them things, so do you know what I'm saying? But if you want to be a woman and you think you're a woman, then okay.
Okay. If you want to be a woman, you be a woman. You do whatever you want to do. It's how you feel. We don't want to, just whatever you feel like you want to be. So we can be whatever we want to. This is the lifestyle of being your own God. This is a humanist. I am my own, whatever I want to be. Call me what I am, what I think is in my head, not the reality. I live my own journey of my own hedonism. Hedonism is a great word that defines what is going on in our society. Hedonism is people following after their passion or their lust, basically. That's all. That's the number one goal in their life. I want to say I'm a guy. I want to have sex with another man. Everything can burn and rot as long as I get what I want. Instead of, when people say, Christians, you're so hateful and stuff, it's like, well, we give ourselves up. We carry our own burden and we give it to the Lord and we say, God, I give myself up to your will, your will, God's will, not my own. And in the world where there's all this humanist and atheist and hedonist mentalities, mainly it's I am God. I make the decisions. I do what I want. Nobody controls me. I do. And that's ends up why people say, you know, why does God send people to hell? Well, we're all destined to hell. We're all destined to hell. Every one of us. I am. Less I give myself up to the Lord and take what he has given me, which is the gift of salvation, the saving from that hell. Because he sacrificed himself on the cross to take my place so I don't have to. That's the difference. Now let's look at Prager when they went on the campus. So this is what's happening on the college campuses.
How would you guys define a woman?
There is no like certain definition of a woman.
Anybody who identifies himself with the term a woman.
Do you think that there are genetic or biological characteristics that define a woman?
That's a tough question. I think being a woman is a state of mind and like an identity rather than there is a biological term for being a female, of course, but it's who you are and who you define yourself as a person rather than what's between your pants.
Think that I could be a woman?
If you wanted, you definitely could.
Yeah.
And then as a healthcare professional, I just have to know exactly what parts they have so I know how to treat it. But at the end of the day, if that's what they choose to label themselves at, that's how they are.
Yeah. Could a woman get testicular cancer?
Yes.
I feel like there's a difference between sex and gender. So sex is what's between your legs, and that's what makes you biologically woman and man. But gender is how you feel, actually.
Is it ever kind of like, it doesn't really matter how you feel because woman has a set definition?
There's so many different things people can identify as, like they, thems, or non-binary. Like, it all depends on the person and how you feel.
But if you want to walk around saying you're a woman with a penis, then good for you.
So would you date me?
That's a tough question. No, I don't roll that way.
What do you mean? I'm a woman. I just said I'm a woman.
I mean,
The penis.
that's the tricky part. I don't like the penis part.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't see a lot of women with penises.
No, you don't. No, you don't. So a woman can get testicular cancer. All right. Now, let's say I'm talking from a Christian perspective, right? So I've got a video from an evolutionary biologist, and they are not generally looked at foundationally themselves as being highly Christian and thinking that they were made, like the Bible says in Genesis 1:27, they were made male and female in the beginning. So as an evolutionary biologist, I would assume he doesn't believe that. So I wanted to get that perspective and see what this person says.
And then a female is someone whose reproductive anatomy is organized around, through development, the production of small gametes or eggs, as we tend to know them. We're living through sort of a weird time because scientists and people generally used to be known for being very careful to not pretend to know things they didn't know. But out of political correctness, we're in a space now where scientists are seeming to pretend to not know things that they absolutely do know now. So it's been an interesting inversion.
I'll give him, he was on live television, so I'll give him the fact that he made a mistake that small gametes are actually sperm, large gametes are eggs. So he was on live television speaking from the cup, so I'll give it to him. Looked like he was reading something, though. I would hope that as an evolutionary biologist, as a professor or whatever, that he would know the difference, but I'm sure it was a mistake. The idea that a scientist is saying, we know the difference, is political correctness. Honesty is the best policy. Have we ever heard that before? Honesty is the best policy. Be truthful. Don't be worried about hurting somebody's feelings. That's the best thing you could do sometimes is to hurt somebody's feelings. Seeing these women running around with these crazy eyebrows, tell them. My God, you let them walk around like some fool with caterpillar eyes and you don't even say anything to them. God almighty, do something. Be real. Be a person and be honest with them. My friend do that. First thing I would say is, what the did you do to yourself? No, man, you need to change that because I care about them. Lord mercy. Anyway, so the last thing I want to say is the funniest, and I say funniest, but it's not funny, ha ha. The funniest situation is where the people are so ingrained that you can be anything you want until.
Do you think people can identify as a certain race?
No, I do not believe you can identify as a certain race.
So do you think identifying as a different race is offensive?
This is a very good question. I think, I don't know. You can't become something that is recognized off of skin color if you weren't that skin color your whole
Right,
life.
because it's biological.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that people who claim transracial are making a mockery of real black people?
Yes. Yes.
I think that is a completely different story. Being transgender is something where you can genuinely be born with different biological features or whatever, and that doesn't contribute to gender or like societal norms at all. I think those are two completely different things.
Is woman face offensive?
I don't think that's woman face. I think those are people who were born in the wrong bodies, who are becoming themselves.
So if you can identify with a different gender, why can't you identify with a different race?
The biological side of it, because race has no biological connections whatsoever. It's purely based off of physical appearances.
I just asked you if it was biological. You said yes.
Is recognized off of skin color if you weren't that skin color your whole
Right,
life.
because it's biological.
Mm-hmm. Or I mean, sex has biological backings, but gender is not. Gender is a spectrum.
Why is it socially acceptable to be transgender, but it's not socially acceptable to be transracial?
I think that's like they're very different things. I think that like I don't know how to phrase this in a way, but I would say like is.
I wouldn't say I'm educated enough to have the proper definition of like separating the two.
But what about like how Rachel Dolezal, she said that she was born in the wrong body, that she really is black. Why is that any different than being born in the wrong body and being a woman or a man?
I don't know how to explain it, but I know that it is.
Maybe it's like, if I want to be a dragon, I can just be a dragon or something.
Be the dragon you want to be. All right. Do not forget, take a time, comment, notification bell, subscribe. I spend a lot of time doing this. I would love if you watch it and you like it, say something. If you don't like it, trust me, you'll say something. I get it a lot. Enjoy yourself. God bless. Don't forget, Southern Faith Initiative is a Christian conservative program. And you're not going to be catching me saying things that are going to be offensive to you if you're a Christian and conservative. And if you're not, you'll find a lot of offense for what I say. But all I got to say is I'm doing it out of love. I care for you. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. And I believe if we take the time to honor him and to live our life by his path, not only will this be a better world, safer world, more peaceful world, more holy world, but you will also live a better life for yourself. God bless.